You ever wonder what kept a Roman soldier going? I mean, really think about it. Marching for miles in the heat, armor clanking, spear in one hand, shield in the other. You don't do all that on an empty stomach. So, what did they eat? It's not exactly what you might imagine.
A lot of people think Roman soldiers were mostly vegetarian. Some even say practically vegan. I've heard that rumor a dozen times.
They lived off grain.
People say.
No meat, just porridge and bread.
But that's not quite right. Actually, meat made up almost a quarter of a soldier's daily calories. A pound of pork a day wasn't uncommon. And you better believe it wasn't all roasted pig on a platter. No, they had to get clever. They salted it, dried it, turned it into bacon, boiled it in pots so worn and blackened they looked like they'd been through a war themselves, which, to be fair, they probably had. There's even evidence they hunted their own meat when rations ran dry. Wild deer, stray dogs, rats if it got bad enough. You ate what you could catch. One archaeologist once found these charred iron grills near a former Roman outpost. Looked like soldiers had been cooking meat right there over a fire, just like we might do on a camping trip. But the myth of the meatless legionnaire? That starts with a guy named Appian of Alexandria. He wrote about soldiers on campaign in Spain getting sick because they had no wine, no salt, just rabbit meat boiled in plain water, and for some reason, people ran with it. See, they didn't eat meat. But let's think about that. The soldiers weren't getting sick because of meat. They were getting sick because they only had meat. No salt, no bread, no balance. And salt? Oh, that was gold to them. In fact, ever hear the word salary? That comes from salarium, literally salt money. Roman soldiers were often paid in salt. It was that valuable. You couldn't march without it, couldn't fight, couldn't even eat properly. So yeah, they ate meat, but it wasn't just about the food. It was about the fuel, the salt, the fat, the calories that kept them on their feet. That, more than anything, kept the empire moving. So we've got meat on the fire, salt in the pack. But what was always on the Roman soldiers' menu?
One word, pause. That's porridge, basically. Not the creamy kind you get with berries and honey. This was rough, coarse, and about as exciting as wet gravel.
Grain was everything. Wheat, barley, millet, whatever they could get. They'd grind it by hand with these heavy, awkward stones. You ever try turning grain into flour in the middle of nowhere? Not exactly 5-star service, but they made it work. Boiled it in water, sometimes wine if they were lucky, maybe threw in a handful of herbs or bits of dried meat if they had any. One soldier even wrote,
"Add a little bacon grease, and it almost tastes like home."
almost at least. And if they really wanted to get fancy, sausages. Yep, sausages. Roman soldiers were stuffing meat into animal intestines long before it was cool. Garlic, pepper, vinegar, maybe some pine nuts if you were stationed somewhere nice. They'd cook them over open fires or smoke them to keep for the long haul. One officer supposedly said,
"If you can smell sausage in the camp, it means the march went well."
probably a joke, but probably true. Now, wine, or rather, pasca, that's the real kicker. Forget aged red wine in silver goblets. Soldiers drank a sour, vinegary wine mixed with water. Pasca, it was cheap, it was sharp, and it killed the germs in water that might otherwise make you puke your guts out. One veteran reportedly told a younger recruit, "It's not about taste, it's about not dying." And bread. Oh, the bread. They made it themselves. Each contubernium, basically a squad of 8, had to bake their own flatbreads on hot stones. Tough little discs that could survive days stuffed in a satchel. Crack your teeth on one cold? Yeah, they just soak it in wine or soup to soften it up. No wonder the average Roman soldier carried almost 90 pounds of gear. Between armor, weapons, water, wine, flour, and meat, they were walking kitchens. Makes you wonder, Were they soldiers first or survival chefs second? Picture this. It's dawn. The camp is breaking, tents folded, gear strapped, soldiers lining up like clockwork. And on every man's back, half a kitchen. No joke. Roman soldiers were nicknamed Muli Mariani, or Marius's mules, after the general who first said, "Let the men carry what they need. We move faster that way." So they did. Each man hauled a furka, a wooden pole across the shoulder with pans, pots, and bags of grain dangling like noisy wind chimes. And here's the best part. No supply truck, no cook tent. When they stopped, everyone cooked. A soldier once joked, "If you're too tired to light a fire, you'll be eating cold beans in the dark." They built their fires quick, small, efficient, tucked in little dugout pits to avoid smoke. One guy handled firewood, another fetched water, another ground the grain, like a squad of mini chefs in chainmail. And the gear, rustic but reliable. Clay pots for boiling water, bronze kettles for stew, skewers, knives, grinding stones. Some even carried tripods, three-legged stands to hold pots over fire. You wanted soup? You had to earn it. A veteran might say, keep your gladius sharp and your kettle clean. Both save your life. And let's talk rations. Each man got a set portion, around 2 pounds of grain a day, plus salt, vinegar, and whatever meat they could scrounge or salt down. Sometimes fish, dried figs, hard cheese. If you were lucky, a nearby farm might offer eggs. If you weren't, you boiled river water and hoped no one got sick. They weren't just fighters, they were survivalists. Portable stoves, collapsible mills, even folding pans. Roman ingenuity turned every campfire into a battlefield bistro. It wasn't about gourmet, it was about getting something hot in your stomach before the next march, the next ambush, the next storm. Because a full belly meant strength, and strength kept you alive. It's sunset now, the camp is settled, fires flicker, soldiers chew on hard bread, and somewhere in the back rows, there's movement. No, not enemy scouts, just the evening rush to the latrines. And yes, Rome had them, organized, planned, and absolutely necessary. Imagine a long trench dug just outside camp. Wooden planks placed across it, evenly spaced holes. That's your bathroom for the night. No doors, no privacy. Just a row of tired men grumbling. One recruit mutters, "Didn't think joining the Legion meant synchronized squatting." A veteran chuckles, "Better this than digging your own pit every night." Some camps used stone seats if they had the time or access. Others stuck to the basics, trench, plank, and a bucket of water nearby. But here's the genius part. The Romans had a system. Downhill drainage, carefully placed waste pits. Some camps even had small aqueducts to carry waste away from where people slept and ate. One centurion supposedly shouted, "The enemy won't kill you, but that fly-ridden pit will." They weren't being dramatic. Bad hygiene could ruin a legion faster than swords. To clean themselves, soldiers used a sponge on a stick, a tersorium, stored in salt water or vinegar between uses. And yes, they shared it. One soldier squints at the sponge. "You sure this one's clean?" His buddy shrugs. "Cleaner than your hands." No toilet paper, no soap, but still, better than most ancient armies. They even had urine pots set out to keep campgrounds clean. Urine, oddly enough, was collected for its ammonia, used to scrub clothes or even tan leather. Gross? Yes. Effective? Also yes. And the daily schedule? Rigid. One unit handled trench digging, another refilled vinegar barrels. Others patrolled to make sure nobody relieved themselves near the food stores. Because when you've got 5,000 men living in close quarters, discipline isn't just about marching in line, it's about where you poop. Clean camps meant fewer diseases. Fewer diseases meant more men ready to fight. And in the brutal logic of Roman warfare, even latrines became a matter of life or death. If you enjoyed this quiet journey into the grit and glory of ancient Rome, consider supporting gods and gladiators. Like the legions, we build piece by piece, and every like, comment, and subscription helps us march a little farther. So if you're still here, you're one of us now. Welcome to the camp.